to positively entertaining conversations with me, your host, Guru Brando, and my sometimes co-host, my always wife. What's your name? Come
Lady
on.
Elizabeth Autumn McReynolds Groves.
Right. I pay for it, so you use it. Yes. Um, we have some ground to cover today. So the first thing is, look what the joke is. Let me lend you my ear,
Yes.
because it's an ear. Okay, so look, I thought it was funny, and it was worth a mention.
It was.
So, um, the title of this episode is "Don't Worry, It's Cleanish." Do you have any idea what I mean by that?
No, no.
It's
Like something
scary.
is clean,
It feels
sort
like a
of.
baited question, doesn't it? Doesn't it? Because you thought it pertained to the episode, right? Like, is this episode going to be
Like
clean?
the content. Yeah.
Yeah,
That
right?
was.
Yeah, but that's not at all what this is about. So, when you get in a new situation and you're not sure about something, do you fake it or do you ask about it?
I prefer to ask.
Okay, some people, they just fake it and they can delude themselves into believing one thing or another. Say, for instance, my dad.
But yeah, well, I'd rather
Pops.
ask somebody than go 100 miles an hour in the wrong direction.
Right. But he believes that certain things exist to annoy him. Would you agree? Yeah?
Yeah, yeah.
And we all kind of think that sometimes, right? But,
Some idiot.
but, sometimes you just have to explain about something, and he's cool, right? Because you're going into an uncertain situation. He moved in with us, and he wasn't quite sure whose laundry was in there, what day something was going on, whatever. There was an adjustment period, right? So I would have to say things like, "Don't worry, Dad, it's clean. It goes there." That's what this is about, because we have an adjustment that we've made to our lives.
Yes.
So we have Miss Carol here,
Mm-hmm.
and she is never going to be on camera.
And that's okay.
But I know that one day she'll be on camera. So she says never, but the camera's not pointed at you, I promise. So, but she's off camera, and
You okay?
she's trying to kill herself with stuff. Because there's stuff everywhere here, and not her stuff, our stuff, and that's what I'm talking about. Part of the adjustment, right? Is sometimes you have to tell people, no, that's not mouse droppings, it's chinchilla poop. Don't worry, it's clean.
It's better than mouse droppings because it's on purpose.
So, there's something, to this whole thing. There's some place that I'm going with it, and one of the places is something that we knew we shouldn't have done, but we did it anyway. So it's like remorse, like that deep-seated, surpassing regret thing. And I did something recently. It was funny because I didn't want to say it to you and Carol earlier, because I didn't want to ruin the reaction that y'all are going to have from this. But my most recent one is messing around and dropping Carol's Valentine's Day gift on the floor with chinchilla hair and poop, and
Immediate
knowing that there's no
regret.
way she could consume it ever in a million years, because I have like this guttural reaction. And so it was horrifying. Alex got Carol a hot cocoa bomb, and it shattered all over my dirty chinchilla floor because I was teasing with Carol. And so that was that
It was
instant.
an accident.
Nonetheless, I knew my entire life, I have been coached by the most chill guy who I was just talking about. Sometimes needs some flexible thinking, but I've been coached to believe that if you screw around with food, it's gonna get dropped or spilled. And that exact thing came true. And my immediate thought was, holy shit, it happened. Because I knew it was going to happen. So you have to ask yourself at all times, did I manifest it because I knew it was going to happen? Because the whole core belief in holistic care is if you believe it, you achieve it. So, it's like, shit, you can't ever have a deep regret or you end up with remorse, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so the goal in life is to not have remorse.
Yeah.
So you
don't
have
wanna,
to go through each of your regrets in your life to make sure that you don't have remorse. You did that most recently. I talked about something that I went through, and you had to send a text that was very difficult for you, and you had to send it so you didn't end up with that regret, that deep regret, right?
Yeah.
So something happened today.
Yeah. I got a phone call this morning, and my dad died last night. He was sick and in the hospital for a couple of days, and it just he had pneumonia, and um, he just didn't he didn't make through. He's already had COPD, and he was pretty sick, so it was. So yeah.
You had things that you needed to express for you to not have remorse.
Yeah.
And you did. You
Yeah.
you texted, you put it out there.
I mean, we weren't estranged or anything like
Right.
that. It was. But yeah,
But you're not there in Texas with him.
right.
Oh, look, we do have the comments. Carol, look. Oh, but
See how you're
now
blocked
it's
out?
not there. But look,
It's there.
where?
You have everyone.
Yeah, look.
Was.
See, no, it was just there. I have to hit top comments. Look, I have to change it from newest to top comments. We just discovered something together as a team.
Teamwork makes the dream.
It does. Now, back to what we were saying. What you were saying. So,
It's a bummer. I'm sad, but the way I kind of believe, I'm also, I guess, I'm relieved that he's not in pain anymore, and I'm kind of happy he's on to his next adventure,
right.
because I don't believe that death is actually the end. We
And-
just go on to be something else.
And that's our core belief, right? That's
Yeah.
yours and my core belief. What about you, Carol?
Yes.
Yes. So all of us, it's unanimous. Our core belief is such that, and if we want to believe it, we can. So I want to, now that we've discussed that, and we can kind of go on, I want to talk about something a little less heavy. What is another one of your moments, your epiphanies that you had, that you probably, just because you can doesn't mean you should?
Like the one I mentioned earlier.
Well, yeah, it can be that or any.
Gosh.
Just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Oh, I guess, when I was given the brief that one time, and I
was
had
hoping.
booby trapped somebody's drawer with a singing card.
Oh my God. Okay, so you have to give some backstory to
Have
it.
I not told the story before?
I don't think you have you? You have, I mean, I know it, but I don't think you've told it.
Okay. So we're
You
in
haven't
I was
heard
in
it.
Baghdad, and I worked inside this. They took Alpha Palace, and I want to say at the time it belonged to like Uday or Hussein when it was taken, and it eventually became a place where we worked, and in what was once their theater in this place is where we kind of set up, and we had to do take in a lot of intel and do briefings for the morning. And I worked. I was there for 15 months, and I worked nights the entire time. And that's when all the stuff was happening. That's when all the big information was coming through.
Big things. Big things.
And occasionally, things would get a little
My shoes on.
monotonous or mundane, and it's like the same stuff happening every single day, and you got to mix it up. You're stuck of being around the same people day in, day out, and in a place you don't want to be, so you tend to cut up sometimes.
Are you sure you didn't want to be there? Because everybody said y'all really wanted to be there.
Well, we always wanted to go back for some reason. But we would occasionally, take in soldier mail that was to whomever soldier, and they would be cards of Christmas cards and things like that. So we would read the Christmas cards and enjoy them. The school kids back home made these and sent them to us to read and to feel better, and it was really, really cool. And some of them were electronic cards where if you open them up they start singing or something like that.
I sent several of those over to you.
I think this one had a dolphin in it, and so you open it up, it was like, and and there was somebody that their desk was like back and behind my area, and and so I gutted the card and just took the little sound chip and with the battery and stuff, and the little tab that you put between the battery and the contact point, and a piece of string and some tape. So when he wasn't around, I went over to his desk and I pulled open his top drawer where you get the one you get into a lot because it's got everything you need, a stapler and all that stuff, and taped it in there so that whenever you opened it, it would pull the tab and the thing would go off. And so I thought I was all slick and stuff, and I knew it was probably like
the wrong thing to do.
This is really inappropriate. I think I was probably I was a buck sergeant at the time. I might have been. I don't remember if it was before I got promoted or not, but I was like, this is stupid. Us being here was stupid, and everything that we were doing was stupid because of stupid politics.
Why don't you talk about how you really feel, baby?
Right.
So I have to give the brief in the morning. Excuse me.
There you go, water with your big giant white mug. Because you break all your glasses.
Yes, I have to have a metal cup because I can't keep a glass one.
She has a sipping cup now.
So the brief comes, and the brief is, okay, this is everything that happened in the last 24 hours, and this is who did it and why, and if you want to catch them, this is where you need to go. And
it sounds so interesting.
And this briefing is given to captains and colonels and generals and all that stuff. They're all present and they're all aware of what's going on
and
here.
Very intimidating and scary. Don't leave that part out.
And so I'm sitting there in the middle of my brief, and all of a sudden I hear, I got. And I was like, oh shit! But I had to keep my composure because I'm in front of everybody. And so I was like trying to stifle my laugh.
Oh my god! Just
while
because
giving the
you
brief,
can
and
doesn't
in
mean
my
you can.
peripheral vision, I could see him looking around trying to figure out what this is.
Oh my god!
And everybody's kind of looking around, and it was a
Right?
moment.
Okay, so
It was.
It's
I
immediate
regretted doing it because the timing was very bad, but looking back on it, it was pretty funny. in the moment, I was kind of laughing about it, but I was kind of freaking out about it. So I was like, this is not what I intended.
Now, what you just described was an adult version of what you described earlier, which is now what I want you to talk about. What did you do when you were a kid and you knew you shouldn't, but you did it anyway, which is the same as just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Yeah. Me and a friend, I was probably, maybe 11, I don't know, 12. And I used to go to my friend Justin's house, and this was when we lived in Tennessee. So I ride my
I was like, Justin who? Did I know him? Dang it.
I ride my three-wheeler over there, and we'd go out and do stupid kid stuff and shoot stuff with BB guns.
I never did stupid kid stuff ever.
And you never did any stupid kid stuff, like burn down a field?
Rat! You rat! Oh my god, tell your story.
So we were playing with BB guns, and his dad was a dairy farmer. And I think they also had some crops, I'm not sure what. Because he had this big tractor and had a giant plow on it. It was, hydraulics all over the place. The wheels were like 8 feet tall. It was a monster.
Look at it.
And it was fully enclosed. Shut up. Glass and sealed up and air conditioned and perfect, and it was hot. And I shot that window out with a BB gun, and I was I
I'm
was like,
horrified whenever I hear
I
you
was
say that.
completely
Because those are
horrified at what
super
I had done,
expensive.
and I just was, I was shooting at the little plow piece on the back to make it, go bing, 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 and
But at the
it
moment,
hit the glass, and the glass shattered and fell like water.
at
It
the
just,
moment you aimed
it's
that
terrible.
gun and shot, did you
Yeah,
know you screwed up?
yeah, that
Oh,
was right at that moment. I had that one last "don't do this" moment, and
the
I did it
the little
anyway.
angel.
Yep, and
Okay,
once
yeah.
it was done, it was done.
I had that same little aim issue. I had been told forever not to aim at anything I didn't plan on hitting because you never know the potential you hold. And sort of the David and Goliath story, right? So I had a wrist rocket slingshot, and I also had an attitude, but I knew not to arm the slingshot and aim it in anyone because I would kill them, right? In my mind, I was convinced. However, I did not feel like I had the power in my wee little T-Rex arms to throw a rock and hit my brother square in the head. And it's all because I was uber pissed. I was so angry. And now, of course, I don't remember what it was about. But my dad's lesson was, you don't know your potential because you can't predict in a situation how you're going to feel. And your feeling is what drives, the passion, right? The strength. And if you think about passion and strength as being sort of the same thing, right? Because if you're very passionate about something, you feel strongly for it, right? And so if you think about your potential as passion, wouldn't you want to have a passion for yourself? Yeah, so you could be strong in yourself, and that's something that I saw in you today. And I see in you on a regular basis that I know you don't see about yourself, but not just in this situation, but in the fact that you have a good gauge of what you should have instant remorse for. And so you were a good kid's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
But you
I tried.
did have a situation where you weren't so good and it was borderline painful for you. And that's when you knew and you finally had the awareness of how destructive you are as a human being, right?
What, the caterpillar?
The caterpillar.
Yeah, that was. I don't know. It's I guess it's a lesson that every kid, learns at some point or another when you kill something on purpose.
Yeah.
And I don't know if what I did was on purpose, but it was just a caterpillar. I
Well,
was sitting at school and waiting on the bus. There was a caterpillar climbing on this tree next to me, and I was poking at it with a stick. And and I poked it a little hard and watched his guts come out of his mouth. And then I was, I think I was probably 7. So I was kind of distraught over what I had done. And, that was kind of, I guess, realization that if I didn't want to feel that way again, then I shouldn't do that again.
right. And there's two things in our relationship that really helped to solidify that you were my person. One was when you told me that story, and another was when you put the stupid Siamese cat in the front loader
Thomas?
kid thing. What the
Yeah.
hell's that thing called? A
The kid carrier.
Huh?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So the little
Yeah.
kid carrier, you put the stupid cat in it.
I did. And he sat in there, too. He was such a stoner.
And it was at that point I looked at you and I was like, I won't have to do that. And so I knew that you were going to be an excellent parent because you were a great person. One, because you knew how destructive you were as a human being. You learned it early on. Some people don't. And two, you also had an awareness of what you valued, which was, human and animal kind, So you were kind to animals, so I knew you were good.
Yep.
And
I didn't run out and kill him on purpose and keep collections or anything.
Hey, I did that. Shut up. There's nothing wrong with that. Don't be judging.
Well, are you talking about a butterfly collection? That's a little different.
Sure. Butterfly collection, right. Anywho's, so we've shared things that just because we could doesn't mean we should. So what do you have, Carol?
I don't know. Nothing to share again.
Okay. Now, I know something that I should not, I guess, I should say, I should not care as much about as I do. You know, when you learn an instant regret and it affects not just financially you, but other people, and you ratted me out earlier. I burned an entire field down, and I'm outing myself at this point. And it did cause financial hardship on the other family that I pretended like I had no idea. So what I did was assume that gourds were very much like stones and that they would contain a fire. And I built a fire because I slept outside and I was sleeping in the pasture. And I gathered them, and whenever it got out of control, I wasn't going to go tell anybody. I was just going to let it take care of itself. But we lived in the plains of Texas, and there went the whole field. Now, it wasn't a crop at that time, but nonetheless, it caused damage, etc., etc. So now I don't have to live with that regret anymore, or remorse, right? So thanks for the opportunity, dear. I appreciate that. I made a note to see, to keep us on track. And let's see how we did. How did we do, Carol?
So far, so good.
Oh my gosh. So then I can do this, and we can tell a joke. Oh, I actually hit you. Oh, see, just like Dad said, right? I was looking at you and I hit you. Did you lose the vape again? Carol's fired, folks. You know what? Don't vape. Don't vape because you can lose 3 vapes. Ask me how I know. I just like talking about her now that she's here.
It was underneath the laptop that I
Oh,
threw
she's
over.
lucky, yeah. Okay, so I want to talk about something really special, which is my chinchillas. And today we had a situation with our washing machine that was totally disgusting, but I covered down on it, and it smelled like lake, and it made me think of Texas. And so I want to talk about it. So here's the connection. I have these wonderful chinchillas, and I wash their bedding every week. And their bedding contains volcanic ash that they bathe in. Also, poos, little tiny rodent poos, and stinky pee on occasion on some bedding and some hay. Mm-hmm. So then I have my beautiful dream girl, Widow, who is a lab Doberman mix in jet black. And she sheds like a crazy person. I think she gets it from me because I must be part Doberman lab because that's why I'm shedding. So we wash their bedding, and we've been washing their bedding all at the same time, which I think is the problem. So we've been washing it all at the same time, and today my chinchilla bedding wouldn't drain in the washing machine, and so I knew what the problem was. The filter was probably full, so we had to pull the filter out. And that was the lake water. And it smelled like, you said, wet dog.
Tawakani.
It does. It smells like wet dog or fish. You know what that smell is, right?
Yeah.
To me, that's summer in Texas. That's what it smells like, just wet dog. And it was pretty disgusting, and I had to like dig all this fur and who knows what out. And I know it's all for my beautiful, wonderful pets. And I got to thinking about that. When they're all gone, I won't have to do that anymore.
We're just gonna get new ones.
No.
Nope.
See? I'm on board with the nope train.
So you're done with chinchillas
So,
after they go?
When they're gone, I'm done. But if I'm done with the pets,
I'm done with cats.
if I'm done with the pets, it means that we get to take the show on the road. So that's why I want to be done with the pets. And when Alex moves out, she's taking, how many birds does she have left?
One left.
One bird. And don't birds like live for a million years?
It's lovely, man. Lost his part. I'm surprised it's still going.
She's had a few birds because she started out with 2, then
Are we
lost
sure it's
1.
still
She
alive?
started
then
out
got
with
2
4 and Dexter ate one.
Yeah.
Right out
She-
of the gate.
First it was 2, then she lost 1 to Dexter, and then she got 2 more, and then 2 of them have died since.
So really what we're saying is we need to get rid of the kids.
And so there's 1 bird left.
Exactly.
That's
That's
the origin.
right. That's where I was headed with that. And Lucas, if Hansel's still alive, which I suspect he will be, because for some reason he just keeps going, and with his little cute donut on.
It's so cute.
Okay,
Oh
so
my
I have to
God.
say, Rory asked his request. Their request was to get a cone as opposed to the donut, because he feels like the donut is too small and Hansel is getting around it. And so I was like, that would suck, because when they have the cone, it catches on the doors and stuff. And I get these images of like throwing food in it for him. You know, have you seen those videos? It's so
When you
awful.
see him resting on the donut, though, it looks comfortable. Can you
I-
imagine
that's
him
what I-
resting on the cone? That's not.
I know, yeah, that's what I
know.
thought.
And
So
remember Jackson would hang his up on everything? We had to
oh
get
my
him the
God,
donut for
he
that
was
reason.
like a bell. He would walk and it
Yeah.
would.
It would hit everything.
Oh, so that's, maybe I need one of those. Maybe I need a cone. Do you think that that'll keep me from eating a whole pizza like I did? I didn't know. I saved 3
No, you
pieces
just throw the whole
for
pizza
today.
in the cone.
Oh, wow, yeah. Yeah, that would be smart. So we're gonna cut this podcast short, because today's been a rough day for everybody, and especially you. And I did want to see everybody for what is a somber date night, but still, like you said earlier, the world keeps turning, right?
Yeah.
And you have a good positive attitude, and that is another secret to our success, because for me to manage in my life, I have to have a partner that can see the other side.
Yeah.
And that's a spiritual wholeness that you have to have. And so you have that spiritual wholeness that says you can. And I appreciate that, and you're being an example to me, because I'll need it soon. Well, 10 to 15 years,
Yeah.
right? Or 500. He might live to be 500. Oh, I have to show something. Those are my shoes. Yeah. Those came from Carol. Aren't they amazing? Beth, don't you love them?
Absolutely.
And I want Aunt Sarah and Aunt Donna and Lindsay and Frank and everybody to be astonished that I can be so stylish. This is your family, guys. Yes, I'm stylish. I know they'll appreciate it. And is there anything that you want to add, babes? What you got going on?
Nothing that I can think of.
You've resolved all your issues with the caterpillar, though.
Yeah, after I threw up, it was. Oh, I think the lesson was through. It was sunk in.
You
And
know-
it was.
Lesson learned.
Yeah, it was just. I kept seeing it over and over again. And then I threw up my lunch. And then after that, it was. It's like just something that stayed with me.
I used to blow up frogs. So I was kind
I've
of
never killed another thing again on purpose.
Yeah, you're a good person, and I knew I needed that balance, because I knew I was screwed up too. So, and now we have the Wrangler, the off-camera Wrangler. That's what we're gonna call you, off-camera Wrangler.
Keep it on mine.
Yeah, good luck.
Someone
It's
asked
not
me.
gonna happen. Anywho's, it's okay. Well, thank y'all for listening for the 30 minutes almost, 29 and 23 seconds. Look at that. So, thank you, babe. I love you very much. Thank
I
you,
love you
Carol,
too.
for being an assistant. And thank you, everybody, for spending date night with us for a somber date night. I hope everybody has a great night. Right?
Yes.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Ooh, and I almost said live from Illinois. It's
Stop
Friday
it.
night. See, that tells
This
you
is where we wrap it
generation.
up.